Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Perspectives today. We hope to prepare you to set sail on the Spirit. And we're talking about the Carnival cruise ship Spirit. It's a newer and larger ship that will depart from the port city and offer unique itineraries for cruisers. Now, Mobile started offering the cruise experience to cruising enthusiasts back in early 2002. That's 21 years ago, as Carnival's ship Holiday took passengers to beach resorts in Mexico and Belize. A Carnival spokesperson described it as a test of the port city market, and if it was successful, Carnival will come back with more voyages. Now, 2 of its announced cruises sold out in just 2 weeks. There was a huge demand, so much so that it caused overbooking headaches. Carnival says that the enthusiasm was incredible. Mobile tourism officials said that the sellouts may have been the fastest in Carnival's history at that date. Mobile passed that first test, and Carnival, as promised, quickly added more voyages out of the port city. Now, just 2 years later, Mobile dedicated its new multi-million-dollar cruise terminal, welcoming Carnival officials, state dignitaries, and tourists. Carnival says that cruise sales for the Holiday were sensational, and most of its voyages were at more than 100% capacity. The port city was called a sleeping giant in the tourism industry. Now, in 2007, Mobile's cruise port received Carnival's top National Customer Service Award, Port of the Year. Now, since then, a few larger Carnival ships have come and gone and successfully attracting plenty of passengers, but facing other circumstances due to Carnival's operating issues. Mobile's current mayor and former have met with Carnival officials over the last decade, working to keep a ship and to get a ship to return. Joining us today on Perspectives, Mobile Mayor Sandy Stimpson and David Clark, President and CEO of Visit Mobile. Well, after a quick break this morning, we'll talk with our guests, Mayor Sandy Stimpson and David Clark, about the new Carnival cruise ship Spirit, what the Spirit and the cruise industry mean to the port city and the economic impact. Perspectives continues in just a moment. Welcome back. As mentioned, our very special guest this morning, Mayor Sandy Stimpson, City of Mobile, and David Clark, who is not vice, but president and CEO of Visit Mobile. Get those V's in there. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here with us today.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but to me, this is an exciting time. We've got a new cruise ship coming in. It looks good as we see the picture there, and of course, some things that we may have not had in the past. But tell me, how did you feel when you finally got this deal done and you knew that the Spirit was coming?
Well, you know, we've been, I'm going to say, addressing this challenge for a long time. Let's put it that way. And so when you finally realize that you're going to succeed, and when I say success, that is getting a bigger and better ship. You know, a ship that will create a better atmosphere, a better experience for Mobilians and those that come here. It's a win. It's win-win-win. So we feel great. It was exciting. Yeah.
And David, of course, with you being sort of the point man for tourism here in the port city, what were your first reactions when you got the word that the deal was done?
Just another thing, we're born to celebrate in Mobile, so another celebration. You know, carnivals choose fun, and we've always thought that what 2 great brands and slogans are kind of a natural family together merge, so we're ecstatic.
And of course, it takes a lot of work to make it happen. How difficult were the negotiations? Because it's still not the best plan that you want, but it took you some work to get to that point.
So Joe Snowden really was the point person on those negotiations, and he's a retired Coast Guard captain, and he's been involved with it for a few years now, and he did an excellent job, and it just took a long time to make it happen. It wasn't a sit down and, you know, work it out over 2 or 3 weeks. It took a very long time, and then we obviously have to get the approval of the attorneys, and that takes additional time. So it was a drawn out process, and really, as far as signing the contract, it was, even though we knew it was going to happen, it was real recently that I signed it, you know, that we knew it was a done deal.
Right.
But we felt like it was all done, but it took a while to make it happen.
So you had their word at least?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We had the commitment, and they were booking passengers, and so we knew it was going to happen, but it just took a while to cross the T's and dot the I's.
And David, from your knowledge of the cruise industry, what is going on today that makes things like that difficult? Because I heard about the numbers in the past, and of course, excitement about some things that could have been done better by Carnival, that we could have even blown it off the top more than we did. What makes it difficult today?
Well, what makes it difficult is understanding just what has happened to the cruise industry the last 3 years. They were the only industry to be totally shut down when COVID happened. And I think it speaks to all the great things that Mobile has to offer and is currently doing, because Carnival had a whole lot of choices. Remember, they only have 25 ships sailing in North America. They scrapped a lot of their ships. They had a lot of other places to go, and they chose Mobile, Alabama to bring this ship here. So they have a whole lot of confidence, and I think they see all the great things that are happening in Mobile, and they've always wanted to give us a better ship, and they have now. So, you know, COVID changed everything. Yes. And to be now in this pool again where all these other choices and their fleet is even smaller speaks great things about Mobile.
And what are those things that lend our opportunity to be greater than some of the other places?
Yeah, so, you know, we've always told Carnival we have the best drive market in Central North America, right? We have 63 million people that can cruise, that have the ability to cruise within 500 miles of here. We have 2 interstates, east, west, and north, south. We have a great airport, and it's even getting better, right? So all those things, along with our hotels, attractions, and restaurants, make it very easy to get here and to enjoy while you're here before you get on the ship and when you come back and depart from the ship.
All those are strong positives to have in your favor. So, Mayor Stimpson, when you were working with them, did you have to sell Mobile or just work out the terms of how they were going to do this, since there are only a few ships available?
Yeah, it was more about just working out the terms. I mean, they've recognized the improvements that have been made in the city of Mobile, especially in the downtown area, which gives their cruisers an opportunity to have an experience on shore. And that's important to them. But another thing that I think is very important was we have scored very, very high always in customer satisfaction of how they're treated when they get to the cruise terminal. And I think when Carnival looks at all that, you know, they weigh that against other ports. And so the cruisers are having great experiences, and when you factor that into, look, what additional amenities can we put in there? What additional ports can we go to? You know, then it all comes together just for a win situation for Carnival and a win situation for the cruisers. And if that happens, we also win.
So like you got the gold star as it relates to that part of it. And
Yeah.
sort of makes me think about one of the fast food restaurants. It may not be your favorite all the time, but you know the service is going to be good there no matter what happens otherwise, you know, so that makes a difference.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the ship. Spirit's going to be new to this market, and of course a lot of good-looking features we're seeing just from the exterior, I guess you could say. Why don't we talk a bit about what should we expect on the ship itself?
Yeah, sure. So I'll take this one, Mayor, if I could.
Go for it.
Okay. So double the balconies that it used to have, and that's a really important feature when you're cruising, to have those extra 300 balconies. So 600 balconies.
Wow.
We have better restaurants than before with the Alchemy Tavern Bar, oysters, seafood that we have. Then the 555 Fahrenheit Grill, Chop House. There's a lot of eateries here and fun things and food. And there's a lot of entertainment, and there's expanded venues on the ship. So we have bigger guest rooms and staterooms and more suite options. There's a lot of cruisers that love to have the suites, and the suites are actually one of the big things that the executives are looking at. They're amazed of how quick they're booking. So all those things roll into a great thing. And then the new destinations. Obviously, when you go on vacation, there's a real big advantage of cruising when you get to see multiple destinations.
And let's talk about some of those in the next segment, so
Sure.
we can have something to draw on that. And you know, when you add the history of the holiday, it was the smallest ship in the fleet at that time. And so I'm sure that's one of the things that people who are regular cruisers are looking for, what the amenities are of the ship.
The amenities, and one thing that the Spirit that a lot of people don't talk about or know is it's a deeper V ship. It is a better sailing vessel in the water.
That's good to hear. A lot of people concerned about safety.
Motion
days, too.
sickness, right? Or
Right.
anything.
Exactly.
Less propensity for that, right?
Yeah, that's outstanding. On my first cruise, we were outrunning a hurricane across the Atlantic to Bermuda, and the hurricane was coming up from the south. And so many people were walking around looking like aliens with a patch on the neck, you know, as well as going to the ship doctor. But it makes a difference when you're concerned about that motion sickness. Because so many people who the first time, they don't know how they're going to be. So we've got a big day coming up here, and I'm going to see where we are on our time here, and we go to a break. That would be, I'd say Saturday, we've got a big day, as well as Friday. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more after this break here this morning. We're talking to Mayor Sandy Stimpson and, of course, David Clark as well from Visit Mobile. We'll talk more about the spirit and the excitement of the cruise ship returning to the port city. More in just a moment. Welcome back to our conversations this morning with Mayor Sandy Stimpson and David Clark, talking about the Spirit. Let's talk about some of those bookings, because that's one of the things I heard in the past, that there were concerns about whether or not the clientele for our ships at that time would pay more. They were trying to get more dollars out of the Mobile market. And I remember hearing from some of the city people saying basically, well, give us a chance to set that in motion and we'll show you what we can do here. But apparently some things didn't come together. So let's talk about this. Now, you're talking about 600 compared to 300 suites available and balcony areas. And so you're talking about, I'm sure, higher dollars. So are we seeing success on the initial preparation here for the ship to return?
A whole lot of success. It's exceeding Carnival expectations. And you know, a cruise ship's like a floating hotel. And it's about guest experience, happiness, and about money. And when you can get your average rate up a little bit, you know, things flow a little bit better, so you can invest more in the ship, more in the experience, more in the guest, and everything organically takes care of itself. So Carnival's very happy with the bump in rate and the flow and the demand.
So the demographic that Mobile attracts, they're willing to pay what is being offered now.
That's correct. And I think that if you look back, though, what Carnival had done originally, you know, we were the economic cruise. You know, we were the low-cost cruise. And then you would also find it being discounted, you know, up until the time it was leaving. And so you had a situation where people were just waiting until they could get the discount. Well, you know, that clientele that's doing that's trying to get the best deal is different than the clientele that's trying to have a great experience, going to new places, and expecting better amenities. And so we're delighted that, as it's turned out so far, okay, with the way it's been booked and the interest that's been shown. And so as Carnival starts assessing this, what they're going to do is they'll be looking at how much money do the passengers spend, you know, per day, you know, on the boat. And our hope is that that'll show that we're competing with everybody else. Because you won't find these cruises that we're doing out of Mobile, you won't find the same ones out of Tampa, Houston, or New Orleans. Is that right, Dave?
That is correct, Mayor.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Yeah, big difference.
Especially when we've got people that close in competition. Quickly, let's respond to that, and then we'll get into where the ship is going. But were you able to do a different type of marketing plan to where you were reaching those millions of people and a huge expanse who would be able to drive here on those two major interstates?
We're currently starting a new marketing plan based on demographics and behavior interest and locations with geo-targets. So thanks to the mayor, the city council, the city resources that they're giving Visit Mobile to market, and to our lodging, TID, Tourism Improvement District, the private-public partnership, we have more resources than ever to market this new ship. So we are doing it 3 different ways. We're doing a brand campaign digitally that shows videos and brand awareness of leisure cruising from Mobile. We're doing search engine marketing campaign with keyword search like cruising from Mobile and those kind of things. And then we're doing a social media campaign with Facebook and Instagram based on travel and adventure and travel plus leisure. People that are looking at these other things digitally, ecotourism, where we capture those and then convert them.
You can see from that we have learned a lot.
Yes.
We're doing a much better job also.
And that's always important.
Right.
Now, quickly before we go to where we're going, it made a difference having Mayor Stimpson involved with you and support, as well as other officials from the city?
Let me tell you something. Over the years, it makes a big difference when your mayor travels with you and some of your city council, but the mayor's been twice, I think, with me to Miami talking to the decision makers of Carnival, being at the Sea Trade Cruise Show with all the executives. And when they see leadership that cares, no other mayor was down there, right?
Excellent.
And so when the mayor asks, what do you need? You know, and he shows up and shows up and shows up, that makes a big difference because, you know, relationships are still, I think, the number one thing you can do with marketing and having understanding about what needs to be done. So we're lucky.
Well, thank you very much for cruisers.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
All right. Well, let's talk about that. You've got itineraries now of 5, 6, 8, and 12 days going to some very interesting places. Why don't we talk about those?
So, you know, I'm not going to try to say what cruise does what place.
Right,
you know,
right.
We just
That's
list them,
fine.
but
That's
you know,
fine.
you have Aruba, the Bahamas, you have Belize, you
Wow.
have Grand Turk, Grand Caymans. What else?
Curacao, I think you said Aruba.
Yes.
Then you have the
Roatan.
Bahamas, Bimini, Key West, Nassau, Half Moon Key,
Yeah.
Princess Key, and all of that. New itineraries for those people who are watching. Best ship ever. Book now at carnival.com. Sell from Mobile, right? So
That's right.
carnival.com, you need to book.
Those are great places. Curacao and Aruba, oh, I'm telling you, that's the place to go. And of course, Key West and the others that you mentioned. So it seems to me you've got both the length, people are looking for longer cruises.
6 and
as
8.
compared. Okay, 6 and 8 are still the norm for the market?
Really kind of norm for the market's probably in that 5 day, and there are 5 days in the next fall cycle, right? But 6 and 8 day to start.
That's very good. And I guess, of course, for what people are looking for now, it's priced at a good value for them.
I think high value is now a better word. High value, which is the price is really good with high quality and high fun with high selection.
Outstanding. Well, when you look at the itineraries, when people are looking for cruising, are they particular about where the ship is going, since they know they're going to be on the ship most of the time? Are they really concerned about where they're headed to, the department?
I'll let David give his answer,
Itineraries
but I think it's
Are
a
number
huge
one.
deal.
They look at
that's
their
huge.
itineraries of where they're going and what they can experience.
Yeah.
That's why demand is so high this time.
Yeah.
You're going to say, Mayor?
I'm just going to say no. I think it has everything to do with the clientele, the demographics that'll be on the ship, and so opening those new ports to us is hugely important. It's just part of the success package.
So what did you see as you evaluate this based on all the things that are on the table to offer some great experiences for people coming to Mobile to depart? What are you feeling? What are you seeing?
Well, what we know is this: park and cruise packages in our hotels are filling up. I had one general manager the other day said, I have 60 park and cruise packages for the first night, and then for the next cycle, I have about the same. We've never had that before. So we're already seeing that demand with their park and cruise packages at their hotels. And I know that when October is through in November, we'll be able to compare our last October and November and see a big spike in sales tax, hotel lodging tax revenue, and all that spend. We really missed the ship.
Yes. Economic impact, because we're talking dollars and
Yeah,
cents here,
yeah.
Dave is talking.
Hotel rooms, restaurants, retail, gas stations. I mean, people coming to the ship, and whether they spend the night before or after, they will spend money and buying things that they need at the last minute. And so it will definitely have an economic impact on us. And that's really how all of this started years ago with Mayor Dow. You know, he was recognized that tourism is you're bringing dollars from somewhere, some other location, and spending it in your city. And because we are sales tax driven, you know, that's just a great model for improving the city's budget. So,
Quick question. As you look at the future, the goal has always been to have more than one,
Yep.
to have one replacing the other. And since we have it for half a year, do you see the opportunity here, or the Spirit's going to give you a chance to prove what you can do?
and we absolutely have the opportunity, and I think the success of the Spirit will help us be able to leverage to the other cruise lines to, you know, really consider Mobile strongly. I think in the past, they've looked at Mobile, and because we were the economic cruise, you know, they were curious about, well, I'm not sure Mobile could stand a higher quality ship. Well, I think we're getting ready to prove that we can. So we're excited about those opportunities too. And we haven't stopped working those. So we have people's attention. We just need them to get closer to the table.
All right, and of course, when you look at those numbers and you can show them the numbers on the table, that makes a big difference.
It's about proving demand. Remember when Christine Duffy, president of Carnival, was here with last? Remember the things she said? You know, the bad news is the Ecstasy's going away. The good news is, you know, you're getting a better ship. The bad news is it's only for 6 months. But the good news is, if you prove it, we'll be there for 12 months.
Well, gentlemen, I thank you both for being here and sharing the excitement. I'm sure a lot of folk will be excited after hearing it more from your story today. And of course, Friday, October 6th is going to be a big day when things resume here in the port city. We thank you, and congratulations too.
Thank you very much. We'll see you at 6:30 tomorrow morning on the dock.
Sounds good. Of course, I'll be here on the camera, and we'll make sure somebody's there for real.
Good deal.
Thank you both so much. Well, let's go to the information for more. Go to Visit Mobile's website at mobile.org, or you can call their number there at 251-208-2000. And you can also go to, as David mentioned earlier, carnival.com to go ahead and book that cruise.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here. Remember, you can catch all of these episodes on all of our outgoing social media platforms. Until next time, thank you very much for joining us here on Perspectives. Awesome.
Well done.
We look forward to it.
Yeah.